Erev Tov, everyone. So in this week's parsha it says, Vayokem Moshe es HaMishkan. Moshe erected the Mishkan. And then in another phrase, the Torah says, Hukam HaMishkan. Pual. The Mishkan was erected. And so to speak, it was erected by itself, because it doesn't say who did it. So Rashi, quoting the Medrash, so Rashi points out that the Mishkan was of such size and of such weight that it was impossible for a person to stand up the posts, to hang the drapes, to make the Mishkan whole. So Moshe could not physically, in a rational sense, establish the Mishkan. So the Mishkan is Hukam HaMishkan. The Mishkan got up by itself. But Rashi points out, again quoting the Medrash, an important idea, that the Mishkan only established itself, and that we mean miraculously, only after Moshe put his hand to it, after Moshe attempted to put it up himself. And there are many lessons from that insight. In English, there was a phrase that God helps those who help themselves. So it's all nest. So the whole thing with the Mishkan, I mean, what do we need Moshe for, or B'Tzalel? The whole thing is a nest from beginning to end. So if the Rebbeinu Shalom is doing Nisim, so let him do it. Yeah, let him do the whole Mishkan. Like the tradition that some Rishonim have, that the Bayis HaShlishi is going to descend whole, done, from heaven. We don't have to do anything. The Meiri disagrees with it. It's Machlekes Rishonim, but certainly that's the prevalent idea in the Jewish world. It's the one you learn in Cheder, that the third temple is going to be created in heaven and somehow descend to earth, and we won't have to do anything about it. So, if that being the case, then why did they have to go through all of this? Why do they have to collect all the wealth? Why they have B'Tzalel and Oliov and Chachmei Lev and the women? And why did they? What? The Rebbeinu Shalom will put it up. Hukam HaMishkan. So from there we have this great lesson that we have to expend ourselves first. When we do whatever we can, so then Kaviyachol the Rebbeinu Shalom fills in the rest. Then the ness will happen. But if we don't do what we want to do, if we don't do anything, we just say, so Chazal said, Ein somchin al hanes. You're not allowed to rely upon Nisim. You're not allowed to rely on all sorts of magic that somehow it's going to happen. You have to do what you have to do. And I think that we see a progression that exists in the Torah. By the Ovos, for instance. So by the Ovos, we didn't see any Nisim. There were no miracles. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they didn't, there was a hunger, they had to leave the land. They had whatever troubles. Avraham had to save Lot, he had to go to war for him. There were no Nisim. But Yaakov and By Lavan, there are no nisim there. And in the story of Yosef, there are no nisim. So by the Ovos, they were in a level, I don't know how to put it nicely, but they were in a level they didn't need nisim. I pointed out to you yesterday that the Rabboni Shalom Kaviyachol was a member of their household. It was felt by them, it was simple. So you don't need nisim. When Klal Yisrael went into Mitzrayim, and they descended into the Memtes Sharei Tuma, so they became defiled completely. They were, so you couldn't expect that they should somehow feel God when they were in such physical and spiritual decline and trouble. So there we begin with Nisim Gluyim. The Rabboni Shalom created open miracles, and that's what Moshe asked for. What oaths should I give them? And the stick, the snake, the whatever. And that's part of what Moshe said. What name should I tell them? They don't know what name to talk. They don't know what's doing here. Yabon says, Eya asher Eya. Eya shlachani aleichem. But they're unaware. So it's obvious that the Rabboni Shalom has not been biased by them. Because they're avodim. And the status of an Eved is not just physical, it's spiritual and mental and emotional as well. So the Rabboni Shalom creates Nisim Gluyim, open miracles. The 10 plagues, and then the Makas B'choros, which was the final plague. And then when they leave, so then there's Kriyas Yamsuf. But there also, Kriyas Yamsuf doesn't happen till they go in the water. The Medrash says that Nachshon went up to his neck. Then the water parts. And then afterwards they have the Mon, and they have the bear of Miriam, and they have the rock of Moshe, and they have Mamed Har Sinai, Chol Ha'om Roim Es HaKolos Es HaBrokim. They hear the voice, Kaviyachol of the Rabboni Shalom. So that makes an impression on them. But that impression doesn't last. Then they make the ego. So then the Rabboni Shalom gives them the task of the Mishkan. So here we have, so to speak, the beginning of the partnership. The Rabboni Shalom tells them now in advance they're not going to be these kinds of Nisim Gluyim. You want to go to Eretz Yisrael, there's going to be a war with Sichon and Og and the Canaanim. He could have done it simple. But now it's a partnership, and throughout Tanakh you see that. There are Nisim, but there's the effort of the Jewish people to create the nest. And without that effort, so to speak, the nest doesn't happen. So then there's the Churban, right? The Jewish people are driven into exile. The temple is destroyed. So then we have the story of Purim, that tomorrow night is Shchedesh Ador. So this already is a nistar. V'anochi haster astir ponai. Esther min Torah min ayin, because it says Vanochi Aster Aster Punai. It is a nes nister. You don't see the nes at all. It's a story. Achashverosh, Vashti, Bixen Vaseresh, Haman, Mordechai, Charvona. It's a story. And if you write the story, so then you see that the Shem Hashem is not written in the Megillah, because he's hidden in the whole thing. Yet when you look at the whole package, all of the coincidences, so to speak, that had to occur in order for this to play out, so you realize that, that someone orchestrated this. This couldn't have happened at random, just like that. And so therefore that becomes the matrix, the paradigm of all further Jewish history in the exile. The Nes Golui is gone. But there's always the Nister. And Shlomo Melech says it in Shir Hashirim, Meitzitz min acharakim. The Rebbeinu Shalom looks, it's like people have on their windows as Venetian blinds or types of shades. So you can't look in, but you can look out. The one that's on the inside can look out. And the one on the outside can't look in. So it's all nister. Everything is hidden. But the rule remains that but it's there, and the survival of the Jewish people throughout this long exile is one of the greatest nisim in the world. There's nothing to compare it to. And the return of the Jewish people to Eretz Yisrael, and the rebuilding of Torah, everything is all certainly out of the ordinary. But it's all hidden. It's not revealed. And it's all because an effort was made. And without the effort being made, the Nes would not happen. I heard from a great Rosh Yeshiva in America, who was an excellent fundraiser, which is synonymous with being a great Rosh Yeshiva. And so I remember in Miami Beach, I had the discussion with him. So I said to him, I was then raising money for the Miami Masifta, which didn't have any money, and so I was a Rav, so I tried to raise money for it. And I complained to him that I don't see, great results. So he told me in Yiddish. He said, "Frier darf man kayen dem Erd." First, you have to chew dirt. Then the Rebbeinu Shalom will help you. As long as you're not willing to chew the dirt, nothing's going to happen. And it was a great lesson, because the Nes kicks in after effort. It doesn't kick in because you want it to kick in. And so therefore, here by the Mishkan, it says, Hukama Mishkan. Yeah, that's right. There's no way we can do it. But it says, Vayokem Moshe es HaMishkan. Moshe put it up. Moshe tried. He picked up every board. It was too heavy. He couldn't, but he did what he could. And if you do what you can, so then that's the idea of Hukam HaMishkan. The Mishkan will stand. It will be erected. That's true in our personal lives. It's true in all hatzlacha that we have, whether it be in commerce or in family or in community. After maximum effort, there's always a nes. Because the whole thing is nisim. like the Nesa Purim. But without Mordechai and without Esther and without the whole thing, it doesn't happen. And so therefore I think that that's an important insight that we can have, that we can adapt to our own situation as well. Rabbi Chananya ben Akash Omer, Rotsa HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Zakos Yisrael, Leficha Chirbo Lahem Torah and Mitzvot Shenemar, Adonai Chafetz Siman Tzidko Yagdil Torah V'Yadir.